Busaba is a bully who picks on everyone, but everything calms down when she dies. However, she comes back as a ghost and sets out to kill everyone she hates. The movie opens with two people performing a summoning ritual, and the shaman asks,
"You want to summon a ghost?"
The scene then shifts to a high school, where two teams are playing in the volleyball championship, and the team in white wins with ease. After the match, the captain Busaba tells Ya she needs to talk to her, but she actually just wants to torture her because Ya still hasn't given her the money Busaba demanded. Ya tells her she'll transfer the money tonight, and once Busaba finally leaves, her teammate Orn helps her get free. But not even Orn is safe from her, because Busaba is about to teach her a lesson for sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. But then the teacher shows up. She announces that a new student will be joining the class. It's Jim, a girl who's well known for being a great volleyball player. Later, Orn tries to warn Jim to keep a low profile, but Hong walks over because she and Jim went to elementary school together. Their moment is interrupted by Busaba, who says one of her shoes is dirty, so Hong cleans it like she's her personal servant. Busaba treats everyone like garbage, but nobody does anything because they're scared of her. The only one who isn't afraid of her is Jim. So when Busaba starts hitting Ya with a volleyball because she still hasn't transferred the money, Jim is the only one who steps in to defend her. Busaba tries to attack Jim, but the coach shows up in time to stop her. That's when we find out why Jim can't stand bullying. It turns out she and Hong were bullied in elementary school too, until one day Jim finally fought back, making the bully leave them alone for good. Jim gets distracted, spills food on her skirt, and goes to clean herself up, only to end up running into Gun. They exchange a few words, and after Gun leaves, Orn warns her not to get close to him because he's Busaba's boyfriend. But this is where things start getting interesting. Busaba wants to call a truce with Jim because the coach threatened to kick her off the team if she got into another fight. Jim remembers fighting the bully on the rooftop and literally pushing her off as revenge. Everyone assumed she jumped on her own, but Hong saw everything that happened. Jim agrees to the truce without any problems, but it's all a lie because she's been texting Busaba's boyfriend and even sends him a very interesting picture. Now that they're supposedly friends, Busaba asks Jim to come with her to tutor someone. Jim agrees and they head out, but the place looks incredibly suspicious. It turns out Busaba brought her to a brothel, took some money, and left Jim alone with a group of men. What Busaba didn't know was that Jim isn't an ordinary girl. She pulls out a sharp weapon and stabs one of the guys. She starts doing everything she can to keep the men from capturing her, until she finally manages to escape the place. Completely out of control, Jim confronts Busaba for selling her out, only to realize it was all a setup to make Jim look like the violent one. Jim tells her mom she wants to transfer to another school, but her mom tells her she should face her problems and says she'll come speak with the principal. Things get even worse when Busaba finds out Gun has been talking to another girl because Jim anonymously sent her screenshots. Gun admits he was never serious about Busaba, and this crazy girl immediately starts playing the victim, even though she's cheating on him with the coach. The point is, Busaba completely loses it, stabs her boyfriend without a second thought, and ends up looking like a complete psychopath in front of everyone, while Jim realizes things have gotten way out of hand. Obviously, everything falls apart for Busaba and she gets expelled so she can't handle the pressure anymore and ends her own life. And trust me, this is where everything goes off the rails. The whole group attends the funeral, but Ya decides to leave because she has a headache and Hong will walk her home. Then a group of monks arrives and begins chanting, while somewhere else, someone is performing a ritual. And at that moment, a powerful gust of wind shakes the entire room, knocking over Busaba's coffin, and she suddenly opens her eyes right in front of Jim. The strange part is that Jim seems to be the only one who saw any of it, so her friends decide to spend the night with her to help her feel better. But after everyone falls asleep, Orn notices a chair moving on its own, and right then, a strange liquid drips onto her face, and she starts screaming until everyone else wakes up and assumes it was just a nightmare. The next day, they find a pile of burned objects exactly where Busaba took her own life. The coach orders the janitor to clean everything up, but she refuses to touch any of it. She explains that someone summoned a ghost there, one that will haunt the people it hates for 2 days before killing all of them on the 3rd day. The girls don't really believe her and go back to their usual practice, but then Ya starts seeing Busaba's ghost, and at that moment, everyone follows Ya into the bathroom, where they talk about how maybe the janitor was telling the truth after all. Then the janitor appears and suddenly becomes possessed by the ghost, starts smashing her head repeatedly, and writes in blood that everyone is going to die. Right then, the lights go out and the ghost tries to attack Jim first, but the others manage to defend her. The girls try to get out, only to realize the bathroom door is jammed shut, while the ghost is about to attack them again. But Gun opens the bathroom door and the lights come back on. The ghost leaves the janitor's body, who is taken to the hospital. It turns out the ghost is also haunting Gun, so everyone decides to visit a shaman at his suggestion. The shaman performs a protection ritual and asks what they did to that ghost to make it want revenge. The girls say Busaba was simply insane, so the shaman decides to perform a ritual to get rid of her. But at that moment, Busaba possesses his body and tells them they'll never get rid of her, before forcing the shaman to repeatedly attack himself. After Busaba leaves his body, the old man tells them the ghost is incredibly powerful. They have to find the summoner, splash holy water on the summoning tools, or kill the summoner outright. Now everyone knows they're running out of time, so they start wondering who the summoner is. Some of them suspect the coach, but since Busaba's father practices black magic, the group decides to investigate him first. But before that, they have to take their exams. Out of nowhere, Busaba appears in front of the entire class, asking where her exam is, and everyone immediately panics. The principal assumes it was all their imagination because they're stressed over their friend's death. Without hesitating, Jim accuses the coach of being the summoner, shouting in front of everyone that he did it out of love. Busaba possesses him, and the coach starts spewing a bunch of nonsense, claiming he'd never summon her out of love, but just to keep sleeping with her, before finally pulling his pants down. After that painfully awkward scene for the poor guy, the group heads to Busaba's house to investigate. But since every door is locked, Gun breaks a window, and they all climb inside like a bunch of burglars. They find a very strange room, and everything points to Busaba's father being the culprit, so they start destroying everything they see, hoping to break the summoning ritual. At that moment, Busaba's father appears and tries to attack them like a madman with a knife. Gun is the one who goes toe-to-toe with him until Jim throws holy water on the guy. Suddenly, he starts running upstairs, trying to escape through one of the windows. As he's making his way across the roof, Hong finds a strange doll, so they throw it to the ground and splash it with holy water. Then something starts chasing him, causing him to fall onto some metal beams. He tries to get back up, only to make things even worse and end up losing his life. Gun and Jim visit the shaman at the hospital to show him that they already destroyed the doll. The shaman tells them they did a good job, but suggests they make an offering to the ghost. So that's exactly what they do, praying for Busaba's and her father's souls to rest in peace. Gun notices it's already midnight, so they've officially survived the third day and assume they're finally safe. Just as they're about to leave, Jim goes back because she forgot her phone where they made the offering. After picking it up, Jim stops to look around and notices some black magic tools, including a doll identical to the one they destroyed. The man explains that those tools protect people from ghosts, and Jim realizes Busaba's father kept them in his house for protection. By destroying the entire room along with the strange doll, they remove the only thing protecting him, allowing Busaba to finally kill him. But why did she kill her own father? Because he used to beat her up whenever he got drunk. Busaba pays the shaman a visit and kills him without a second thought. But the movie never explains why he claimed everything was fine. The scene then cuts to Gun, who's waiting for Jim when Busaba's ghost suddenly appears. The ghost grabs his head with incredible force, and the car starts driving by itself. Gun manages to put on his seatbelt, so he survives when the car crashes into a wall. Right then, Jim arrives, and since she can't open the door, she smashes the window with a metal bar before trying to pull him out. Then several metal beams come crashing down, but luckily, Jim survives. The one who isn't so lucky is Gun. The car suddenly shifts into reverse while the ghost keeps him from moving, causing him to slam into something so hard that he's decapitated. Jim goes to visit the shaman at the hospital, only to realize he's also dead. She steals a knife from a nearby table and tells Hong that it isn't over yet, asking her to meet at Busaba's house. Hong then calls Orn to tell her, but the scene cuts to Ya, who still thinks everything is fine. Out of nowhere, someone throws a rock at her window. As Ya looks outside, Jim sends her a message saying Busaba is still after them. But Ya doesn't have time to read it because Busaba scares the life out of her before a piece of metal pierces her eye. Busaba breaks one of her legs, so Ya crawls toward the door as best she can, but Busaba won't let her open it. Her mother hears the noise and goes upstairs to check, and when she opens the door... Meanwhile, Jim arrives at Busaba's house, only to realize no one else showed up. Because Ya is already dead, and Hong convinced Orn to meet her at the basketball court where Busaba died. Hong tells her she already spoke with Jim and knows how to stop the ghost. All they have to do is offer a drop of their blood and sincerely apologize to Busaba. Orn gets scared and texts Jim to tell her Hong brought her to school. But when Hong tells her everyone else is already dead, Orn decides to do what she asks. After offering a drop of her blood, Orn apologizes on behalf of everyone for killing Busaba, leaving Hong genuinely surprised. And now get ready because we're about to take a trip into the past. It turns out that after stabbing Gun, Busaba realized Jim was the girl Gun had been talking to, which obviously led to a fight between them. Gun stepped in to break them up, and since Busaba kept playing the victim, he told her he knew she'd been sleeping with the coach. She immediately lunges at Jim again. They all shoved her at the same time, and Busaba hit her throat so hard that she died. Jim literally said she deserved it, then put Busaba's gym clothes on her and walked up the stairs carrying a rope. so the security cameras would make it look like she went up there to kill herself, when in reality, they were the ones who hanged her body. Hong was the only one who didn't know any of this, so now it's obvious why Busaba wants revenge. But there's one more plot twist. The person who summoned the ghost was Hong. She was the one with the shaman we saw at the beginning of the movie. So when Busaba finally appears, Hong kills Orn for her. Shortly afterward, Jim finally arrives, only to find her friend hanging there. But why did Hong summon Busaba? It turns out she's a masochist who enjoys being abused. When Jim got rid of the bully who used to torment them, Hong couldn't help but feel lonely. But then she met Busaba at this school, and Jim took her away too. So she pulls out the knife the shaman gave her and stabs Jim in the stomach while Busaba's ghost holds her arm. However, Jim pulls a full Game of Thrones, slits Hong's throat, and gets rid of the ghost as well. Jim wants to know where the tools Hong used are, but then the centipede on the knife starts crawling into Jim's stomach, while Hong and Busaba hold her down so the reincarnation can be completed. The next thing we see is Jim telling her mother that everything is finally okay. A few seconds later, Hong shows up, and Jim asks her to clean her shoe. Hong happily does it, while it's revealed that Busaba is now Jim, and that's how the movie ends.